Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday. And I have a repeat guest who was on my previous podcast. And now she's here because she's got a book. And it's so exciting. And it's somebody who I've actually met in person. So it makes it even better. So, hey, it's Sarah Clay. I love it. Sarah, welcome. And let me just tell people what we're talking about today, and then I will have you introduce yourself. So our topic today is narrow focus, wider impact, writing for your audience. So it's a great topic. I'm really excited about it. But before we get stuck in, Sarah, oh, that's a great one. Sarah, please tell people who you are and what you do.
Oh, Gillian, thank you so much for having me. And I have been called many, many names, including Claire. And I was called Clay for years and years and years. And I'm now known as Sarah Clay. Very few people actually call me Sarah. Most people call me Sarah Clay, which is great. I love it. So yes, I am Sarah Clay, second-time guest on your show, which is exciting. I'm CEO of a LinkedIn marketing agency, Sarah Clay Social, and we help all kinds of companies to optimize LinkedIn, to get more visibility, to get more leads. And I train CEOs and employees and all kinds of people how to use LinkedIn. And we also run company pages for companies too.
Wow, that's a mouthful. And you, Sarah, you have such a diverse background. I've known you for many, many years now. We used to do Clubhouse together. You've been on I've been on your show. You've been on my show. I've just known you in so many ways. I've worked with you with your group and given workshops and known your people and just so many different things. And so I knew many, many years ago that you wanted to write a book. I remember that came up in one of our Clubhouse sessions. And so can you just tell us about, you went at a LinkedIn trainer. You figure you're going to just do how to do LinkedIn for everybody on LinkedIn. And yet you went niche. And it was just so refreshing that you said, because I remember when I first heard about your book and I went, wow, that's like, it was just like, sort of like the purple cow, totally different. Which purple cow, orange cow, so appropriate for you.
I don't care what color it is. It's not black and white.
So why don't we, before we talk about your journey, because I do want to cover that, first of all, tell us the title of your book, and then I want you to explain what employee advocacy is, because that might not be a term everybody understands. So could you do that?
Yes, so my book is called Employee Advocacy on LinkedIn, and it's a mouthful. And I am trying to think of a phrase that sums up what employee advocacy is in an easier to say way, if you like. I'm working on it. What employee advocacy is literally using the employees of a company to be advocates of the company itself. Now, specifically to LinkedIn, it's using the employees to advocate the company page content for one thing. So company pages are great. We all need a company page if we have a company, but because of the way the algorithm works, they kind of sit in their own lane, quite quietly in the corner, if you like, for whatever reason, which I won't go into. Whereas personal profiles on LinkedIn are where we get the reach and the engagement with other people. So from a personal profile, you can engage with people, you can link with people, you can connect with people, you can talk to people, you can do all kinds of things that you can't do from a company page. So for that reason, it's really brilliant to get the employees of a company out on LinkedIn with their personal profiles, building relationships with real people around LinkedIn, bring them back to either the company page and or the website, or straight to buy from the employee. And it's a great system. And there's a statistic which blows me away every time I say it, that posts going out from the company page versus personal profiles. Okay, so personal profiles, the content gets up to 561% more reach from personal profiles as it does from company pages. And that's a stat from LinkedIn. So using employees to go out and meet people and talk to people and generate content from their personal profiles is, to me, an absolute no-brainer.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I had no idea that we had such a difference. And whew, and I know that like I have don't even go look at it. You know, an abysmal company page myself, but it's like I'm one person. And so it's kind of like, you know, as a single person, a solopreneur, it's like I put all my effort into my personal profile. But I would think that if you're a company, and this could be like B2C or B2B companies,
Mhm.
right? Either one, but probably primarily B2B, you know, that's going to have more employees. But I could see that, like, if a company was just doing a page by itself, they're like, you know, they're not getting a lot of reach. But then if you have all these active employees that are also, you know, doing their own personal profile, plus helping out with the company page, using it all together, I'm kind of thinking it's like 1 + 1 = 3. Like it's like it totally it expands the reach for the people and the company all at the same time, which is like brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a bit like, 'cause I use a lot of analogies, and one of the things I always say is that LinkedIn is it's networking. It's not social media, it's a networking platform. And if we treat LinkedIn like we treat real life, we would have much more success. And I think we would, well, we do overcome boundaries. So looking at LinkedIn as a networking platform compared to real life, if you send your CEO to a networking meeting, great, wonderful. But how about if you send your CEO, your CFO, your HR, and a couple of the other people who work in the organization to the same networking event? Think of the impact, the gross impact of all those people at the same event, as opposed to just one person. And that's what employee advocacy is all about.
Wow, wow. So it would you say it's being this like being a brand ambassador, or is that something totally different?
I would. I would say
Okay.
that. And a lot of what I do is actually helping the employees be their own brands, really,
Mhm.
within the organization. And when I started out, I used to use this phrase a lot, but actually a lot of employees get scared of that when I say, you know, we're going to create you as your own personal brand. Like, no, no, I didn't want to do that. So it's about, you know, using the right language, obviously, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're being brand ambassadors.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about your book. And first of all, I want to ask what's in your book? So what does your book contain? Is the audience, the CEOs, the employees, both? Like who is the book for?
Great question. So the people who hire me are generally the marketing department. The head of marketing comes to me, or if it's a smaller company who doesn't have their own internal marketing department, it might be the CEO might come straight, and that's usually when we're running the company page for them, as well as helping the employees, you know, do their advocacy piece as well. So really, the book is for those people. It's for those people to work out if it's right for their company. Well, the answer to that is yes, and how they can do it. So when I teaching LinkedIn, it's a lot of it is it's not only about how, it's about why, and
Mm,
it's about shifting the mindsets. And this is what we need to start with, because you will not engage anybody, any employee, to help you out here unless you can really shift their mindset and help them see why it's good for them to do it. And it's good for the company, obviously, but it's also really good for each individual employee, which we can go into in a bit. But mainly, it's for those people who are thinking perhaps that they could start to implement a system of employee advocacy in their company. So yeah, the CEOs or the CMO, or, you know, somebody in the marketing department or the comms department.
I love that. I love that. And so when you were so basically then my next question is, so what's contained in your book? What sort of like where do you take them from A to Z?
Okay, so A is they haven't got a clue what LinkedIn is really and what it can do for them. So pick up the book and start to read. There's a little bit of an overview about really what LinkedIn is, and I talk about LinkedIn being marketing and not social media to help them feel comfortable even going further and delving further into the book. Then what is employee advocacy? Because it is a very new concept for many, many people. And then it's about how it can help the company. And there's lots of different ways it can help the company. And it's not only just about sales, there's lots of other things as well. And then also what's in it for the employees. So how can you sell this to the teams, to the people within the organization to get them on board? Then I talk about what the system involves, how you can get the system going. And I talk about it in two ways. One is if you're going to do it yourself internally, which is hard. It's hard because it is pretty time consuming. So, but then I also talk about getting somebody in to help you. Obviously, it would be great if it was me, but there's many, there are other people who can help you as well. And I identify what you should look for in a LinkedIn trainer and what you should look for if you want somebody to do the initial LinkedIn training and then take this training further and be there as a consultant to help drive this program forward. I also do a little bit of content and what kind of content you should be posting on your company page, how best to set up your company page. So there's a bit of how-to in there as well. And there's some case studies in there that some are mine, some are other people's as well. And there's quite a few stats in there to give that proof, that evidence that this actually works.
I love that. And I was reading your book this morning, reading some of it this morning, and I like you just jumped right in with a case study about a pub. You talked about a pub, and I think case studies are really good for businesses because I think businesses kind of need to see, well, how have other people applied it? And then that helps them say, is this right for me? And so would you say that this whole concept behind employee, like I was really surprised in your book when you said you don't have to be a gigantic company either, because I was thinking like Pepsi and Nike, those big brands, but you said no, even a small company can utilize this strategy as well. So is this best for some particular kind of businesses, like that have products, or more that have services like insurance agencies? Like kind of who is this good for?
Absolutely anybody, Gillian. And you talk about the pub, and that was many years ago when I was working with pubs, and we weren't using LinkedIn for the pubs. This was on Instagram and other platforms, and it worked really, really well. And then obviously I'm now bringing it over to LinkedIn as well, where it works differently and it can work much better. But even if there's only two people, you can still advocate each other's content and comment on each other's posts and advocate the company page content, and it's going to increase the reach, definitely. In the much, much bigger organizations, I see what they call employee advocacy programs already set up, but they're not really what I would call employee advocacy programs. But with the bigger companies, it's about choosing who would be relevant to do it, because you don't necessarily want every single person out on LinkedIn. You don't necessarily need that. And also not everybody within a company will want to be involved. What I find was with the bigger, well, even with the smaller companies, start small, start with a really core group of people who are really into this, and get them going, get them motivated. And then some of the other people will start to see the results that they're having, and a little bit of FOMO sets in, and they're like, can I have a go, please? And then you can bring them in as well. And that, to me, I think is the success, or one of the successes of a successful employee advocacy program.
I love that. I love that. So when you set out to write your book in the first place, was this like real clear for you? It's like, okay, I want to write a book about this and I know who my audience is. Or did you just start saying, I know all this stuff about LinkedIn, I think I'll put it into a book, and it morphed? What was your process, Sarah?
Oh, It was hard. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, was write this book. So I was kind of challenged to write a book for a particular purpose. And I said, right, I will then. And I decided to write a book. So I have spreadsheets, I have drive folders, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of words and pages, how to do LinkedIn as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. And I thought, yeah, I could just put all those into a book and pop it out. Easy. That would have been relatively easy. And I reckon I could have done that in a month or two. But no, I decided that this whole concept of employee advocacy is so new. And I really wanted to share it and help get people on board and get people talking about it. And even since I started the concept of writing the book and publishing, that gap in between, the whole idea of employee advocacy has become much, much bigger and more well known. So I'm so glad that I was right up there at the front of this. So I didn't have a huge amount of figures and facts and stats. So I really had to dig around and do some of my, do a lot of research to find that, because it's such a new concept. So from that point of view, it was really hard. And then how to structure the book, because there's been nothing like this written ever. So I had no guidance, no ideas of which order I was going to do it in. And it was, at one point, it was all written and ready to go. And then I thought, no, it's all in the wrong order. And I shifted it all around. And my poor book coach, who was also helping me with the publishing, was pulling her hair out. But we got there. We did get there.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, that stuff happens. And, I think, isn't it wonderful that you have the freedom to do that, though? And it's not like it's already off to a traditional publisher.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yes, you can't do it. So it's nice that you got to do it. Did you find, though, as you were writing and you made the shift and you said, okay, I'm going to go with this totally new field. And like you said, it's like, you're kind of like in the right place at the right time with the right book. And it was just like, wow, because like now, if you started writing a book on employee advocacy, you're like a couple years behind everybody else. So, this would not be the good time to like start with this topic, but you were right place, right time. But as you were writing, did you have to fight any kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just also make it applicable to this, like, did you fight with any of that? Or did you just say, no, I'm staying in my lane?
Oh, no, I was in my lane all the way through.
Mm.
Absolutely. This is what it is. This is who it's for. And I'm sending it out to people now, and people are buying it, and they're very, very niche, and they're the right people for me to work with, and they're the right people to get these programs started. No, I never had a question about who it was that it was for and what it was going to be about.
That's great. That's great. And that to me is confidence of just, it's like you have your bullseye, you have like a target and you have your bow and arrows, and it's like, baby, I'm just going for the red. Going for the red, right in the center, and that's it. So that is perfect. That's perfect. Oh, I love that. I love that. Great story. Great story. So, as you were doing, sort of, how are you now doing your marketing? Are you finding that because it is such a niche book that it's like, are you marketing differently than just like plastering it on social media? Do you find you have to do maybe more direct marketing with your target market? Like, how are you getting in front of buyers with your book?
So the purpose of writing the book wasn't to make huge sales and make money out of selling. And I was told this many, many times during the process. So I knew that was the case. So for me, selling, sales of the book is great. And I attended a book fair on Monday, last Monday. And I've done lots of sort of guest appearances with the book, in person and online as well. I have had one sort of mini book launch, and I keep telling myself and everybody else that I'm going to be doing another one, but I just haven't quite got round to it. But what the book has done is repositioned me. And it's been absolutely mind-blowing what's happened since I became a published author with this book. I always had lots of cold inquiries on LinkedIn from people. I get lots of inbound, if you like, because I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn posting and engaging with people. But the inquiries I'm getting in have completely changed. It's almost happened overnight. I'm now getting inquiries to work with quite big, worldwide companies. And for me, that's the value of the book. That's what it's all about. And I'm getting asked to speak on stages, and talk about this as a concept, as well as workshops to how to do it. It's also shifting mindsets within companies. And that, to me, is the success of the book.
I love that. So it was really by niching down, you set your target to go with a different, a very specialized audience, but now that's opening up newer opportunities based on that audience. So it's kind of, it sounds like it's really paid off to kind of keep the eye on the prize. And, books do open doors. I always call books, the $100, 100-page business card. They open up new doors. They get you in front of new people, and people see you as credible. So speaking of people, I want to pop over and start bringing in some of the people who are watching us today. And because we are live, I want to bring that in. So we have one of your favorite all-time fans. Jeff Young is here. Sarah Clay, you are two of my favorites, Brit and Brit born abroad. So yay. Thank you, Jeff. And he always comes back and shows me I'm on YouTube and I'm on LinkedIn as well. Greetings from the front row, halfway between London and Phoenix. My LinkedIn ladies, namaste. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. And he says, glad to see you both. Glad to see you back on the bike. Were you injured again, Sarah?
Yeah, I had more surgery. It's fine. I'm good.
just moving on. Get the book. Oh, lovely. Jeff has gone and put the link in there for everybody. So that is just wonderful. That's wonderful. And please, everybody, just go get that link. And then Alan says, Sarah Clay, we practice exactly what you say, using the employees to be advocates. And we do see that works in terms of outreach. So that's great. That's great. Do you want to give an example of that? Because I think there's people that are just like, I'm not understanding. Are they using like corporate makes a post and puts it and then we repost? Like, what are the mechanics, Sarah? How does that all work?
Okay. So there's lots of different ways it can work. The way I work, I'm working with a platform called Agora Pulse, which has got an employee advocacy program within it, and it's also a scheduling tool. So what we do, if we're creating the post for the company as well, if we're running their content strategy, we will create the post once it's all approved by the client through the platform. If that's part of the process, we will schedule the post. I will then add the employee advocacy bit. So all of the people within the company who are part of the program then get fed into the app. They will then receive, the minute that the post goes live on the company page, everybody receives an email to say, please engage with the company post. It's just gone live. Click on the link in the email, go to which takes you to the post, and you like it, you comment it, you repost it, whatever it is, whatever I'm hoping that you will do and have taught you how to do. And then your results, each employee's results go on a leaderboard. So we can see, yeah, it's great. So we can see who's engaging, who's doing this and who isn't. What I always do is I help. Some companies need some help with what kind of things to say as a comment on the company page post. And the reason we want people to comment is, several reasons, but first of all, because of the algorithm. So as you know, Gillian, when a post goes out on LinkedIn, if it has engagement, then the algorithm picks up that engagement and pushes it out to more people. I wrote a blog and called it the algorithm is like a washing machine, because it helps the posts go round and round and round to more people. So that's one reason. But the main reason for people to engage, employees to engage with posts on the company page is this. Would you like to be the first person on the dance floor at the wedding? No. Nobody wants to be the first person out there. Nobody wants to be the first person in the lecture to ask the question. But if somebody asks that first question, the questions start to be asked because somebody's broken that mold. So when you have some of the employees engaging with the company page content and commenting on posts, it opens up the floodgates for everybody else to feel more comfortable to then engage with that post. It's kind of like saying, guys, here we are. We can have this conversation. Come on, come over. And so when I send out when the email goes out, I may put in my suggestions of what kind of things they might want to say, but I don't write the comments for them because each employee is their own person and they should be using their own language. So that's how the system works. But before any of that happens, what we need to do is get the employees' profiles looking amazing and helping them understand, et cetera, et cetera. And the same when employees create their own content as well. I encourage them to make sure that their colleagues know that they've posted something. So then their colleagues can come and comment on their post for exactly the same reasons.
Nice.
But it doesn't have to take long. Once you've got a system in place, so Agora Pulse make this really, really easy because the email comes in the email, in their inbox, and all they have to do is click through and do whatever they're going to do. It's very, very simple.
I love that. I love that. And I love too that, if you're encouraging them all to follow each other, be connected with each other, as a group, then yes, they're going to see each other and, be able to help with their personal posts even, it's just like whatever. And I think as they all build their own LinkedIn network of it builds up for the company. So I'm assuming this can all happen on company time. This is not people having to sit at home on a Saturday morning it's like this is, and I suppose that's even a part of the whole employee advocacy is you almost have to have like a social media strategy of like, it's okay to be, going and commenting on a post at, 10 o'clock with your cup of tea or something.
Absolutely. And this is one of the reasons I always advise companies to get an external trainer in to teach people how to do this, because what it does then, it elevates the whole process and it encourages everybody to realize, actually, this isn't just something we're doing while we're sneaking 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. This is something we want you to take seriously, guys. This is something we are giving you time in your day to do, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, which is actually all you really need. More is fine, but you can easily do this in 10 minutes a day. And getting an external person in just elevates the system and ensures that people know, right, okay, my boss really wants me to do this and she values this a lot, so I need to get on board.
I love that. I love that. Wow. So many cool things. So many cool things. So do you also have the employees like help make content, like maybe make videos or do anything fun for the company?
I do, and I've just started working with the company actually, and we are going to be doing exactly that. So we're working out which videos we're going to have, and we're working out a strategy. And it's two guys particularly. We're going to be going out making videos and creating their own content. But yeah, definitely help them with that. And not all employees will want to take it that far. Some will just literally do a selfie here and there, or just the odd post. That's fine. But what I encourage them to do and work with them to do more is create more of their own content so that they can really start to grow into their role as an advocate.
I love that. I love that. So as we're kind of like getting to the end of our time, let me just check. Yeah, we are getting to the end. It goes so fast. We get to the end of our time. Sarah, what are, like, if we just kind of talked about this whole idea of niching down and getting really clear on who your audience, you don't want to write for just everybody. You want to write for a specific, target market, a target audience. What would be that one thing that like I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd known about this, that maybe you'd kind of pass on as a word of wisdom?
Ooh, good question. I always say, listen to your audience and answer their questions in your content. So we all have customers. What questions do those customers ask you? Those are the questions that you should be talking about on your LinkedIn company page, on your personal profile, whatever it is. Even if it's, how much do you charge? How do I work with you? What's the process? All of those things, and obviously much deeper stuff as well. And it's looking at the problems that you solve. So talking about the problems that you solve, you're going to resonate with your audience, and you're going to really speak to the heart of people. And that's what's going to help. And you're showing your knowledge, you're showing you understand what they want, and that you can solve their problems.
I love that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, I just want to put in a final plug for your book. Everybody go check it out. It's awesome. You have it available. They can just go to Amazon, and you have it in Kindle, you have it in paperback, and you also have it in a hardback too. So that's awesome. 3 choices that everybody can go with. So Sarah, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your journey, telling us everything that you've done, telling us about your book, and just helping us learn about books in general. So appreciate that.
Oh, Gillian, thank you for having me. It's been fabulous. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll see you guys all next week, and bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.